Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Young. I'm just going to walk you through the Trans-Pacific Trade Agreement that was basically passed. Now, all that really means is that there's a deal that's been agreed to by 12 countries, including Canada. It still has to meet parliamentary approval, which won't happen until after the election. So, in essence, it's not law yet until it gets approved by the various countries, including Canada's House of Commons. Now, to frame this in the proper context, you need to frame in what exports mean to Canada. Canada is a country of 36 million people. We do not have enough domestic market to support the revenue needed to grow the economy in terms of support social programs. We don't have it. Unless you guys want to pay higher prices for everything in terms of taxation, which most of you do not want to do. So the only way Canada can kind of do this to expand its option is providing more support to exports. Trade deals provide more support to exports. As much as the unions will tell you that they're not good for Canada, they are good for Canada. In general, export jobs pay about $1,200 per week. So that's about $30 an hour. That's much better than the average rate wage, which is about $20 an hour. So it's almost like a 50% improvement over that. So that being said, exports are very, very important to all aspects of the economy. They bring in that foreign direct investment that helps us develop the mines, helps us develop food processing, helps us develop the oil sector, helps develop any sort of advanced manufacturing. It brings that foreign direct investment in. The more money we bring into the country, either through foreign direct investments or export the money out, we're getting that hard currency back. Guess what happens? That reduces our balance of payment down, takes that deficit down, and reduces it down. So trade agreements are very, very important in terms of the overall flow of capital to help companies grow their economies, also manage their social programs because it provides them an additional revenue stream. Now let's talk about the countries involved. And you're seeing this here right now. You're seeing Australia, Canada, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand. Okay, let's stop there for a second here. Let's talk about Malaysia. Why is Malaysia so important? Just like Indonesia down the road, is Malaysia wants oil and natural gas. They want that from Canada. So right now you're seeing, for example, Malaysia, we have a trade deficit. Well, if we expand opportunities to export into their market and make it more open for them, there's a good chance that we can flip that trade deficit around and make it into a surplus, but also get that foreign direct investment from their oil companies into helping us develop our natural gas resources to support their economy. Singapore is another economy that's growing pretty quickly. They also want more and more Canadian goods. So in essence, what this trade agreement is going to do, it's going to allow better access for Canadian goods to new markets. Those new markets then will provide the revenue coming back to exports and taxation, which will drive the social programs, which is very critical when you're a country of 36 million people. You need that potential for growth. So let's talk about the issue of trade in general. A lot of you are not familiar with what happens as a company. If I'm XYZ company and I want to go to China or Vietnam, I can't just walk in there with my container of jeans or my container of apples. I have to go through all the protocols to get it into there. That means setting up companies in there, working with the governments to get through their systems in terms of regulations and tariffs and trades to get things going. What trade agreements do, they allow governments to better work together, to break down those walls and make free flow of goods without adding additional cost to it. So they're removing that tariffs but allowing more free flow of goods. That's what's so important about trade. We're all globalization. This isn't the 1950s or 60s when the NDP first came to power. So despite all that, that's why the NDP policies are dated. They don't support trade agreements. Why? Because the unions are telling they're bad. However, Canada depends on them in order to expand its economy. Let's talk about TPP itself. Now, there's only a certain amount of details that have come out. Most of it's around the tariff side. So a lot of the cases is our agricultural sector, some of our machinery, minerals, forestry products will not have the tariffs on them as they go into those countries to develop their housing market or their food processing area where they're taking our wheat. What that means is we're now going to be able to expand exports in there without hindering that sector. If we can expand exports, as I said, it'll lead to more potential growth in our revenue streams, which supports social programs. The ones that you're going to hear that are against it are going to be automotive. Now, that being said, that's being driven by Unifor. Now, automotive itself has gone through a major transition for the last 25 years. I can speak very significantly on that quickly because I used to work for a company that we sold welding equipment to the automotive sector, and they went into more robotics, they went in more to welding, laser welding, they went into more what we call is manufacturing of the components, so that one company would manufacture key components, and all the automotive companies were doing is assembling. You can go out and research this and look out for keywords like modular assembly, laser welding, and you can see the change. So automotive has changed, and that's one thing Unifor hasn't accepted, and that's one key point about Unifor. The second point, Unifor is they're pretty good at criticizing Harper, but not Kathleen Wynne on her hydro, cap and trade, or PP plans, all that impacts business. Second thing is, okay, there's a lot of talk about Harper sold us out. Always hear that statement. Harper ensured that he protected the dairy industry and the farmers, so there's money built into it and there's protection built in. So that's helping the farmers, but it's also giving the farmers access to new markets. Okay. The other thing that comes into play too as well is the whole idea of corporation, government-owned crown corporations. So there's pressure on that to open up these state businesses to more equal, unfeathered competition. So there's not restrictions there. So if these type of deals will allow free market companies to go into Vietnam, go into Malaysia, and have a lot more ability to create jobs, create that wealth that would come back into this country through dividends and through pension valuations. You're not hearing that from Unifor. There's a lot of built-in protection around intellectual property, also as part of this agreement. So what I'm saying to you is don't listen to the rhetoric, what the union says. What you should go out to is to the site to basically listen to what other people are saying about the policies. Now, you're going to start seeing information come out now from different groups. The two main groups that I've seen that support this deal are Canadian Manufacturer Association and the Chamber of Commerce. You'll see here their YouTube links. You're more than welcome to go out there and do a Google search on both the Chamber of Commerce and the CME under Trans-Pacific Trade Agreements, and you will see what the statements are made by business. Now, business has their constituents. The constituents are people that hire people. These are the hired people that pay that salary, that pay that income tax in. That's the everyday people that you're trying to get into that middle class, so to speak. These are the people that are going to create those jobs. They're going to create those jobs when they're able to expand their business. So you need to ask yourself clearly when you're looking at an election call, what party is looking out to the future? It's not Thomas Mulcair. His policies are dated in the 50s and 60s. Justin Trudeau, depending on the day of the week you get, you're going to get a different policy. Stephen Harper's been pretty consistent in terms of his view on policy. Exports, low tax. So if you're going to cast your votes, then you should be sitting down to yourself and asking yourself what party is going to stand up for me to ensure that I have a future in this country. Thank you.